primary ignition.
Welcome to Unlimited Power. My name is D-Rod, and here's my Twilight of the Republic pre-release guide for Maul. I'm really excited for Maul to enter in this set, and it could just be because I was in junior high when episode 1 came out, and seeing him on the big screen, double red lightsaber, Duel of the Fates playing, that's probably it. Or it could just be having this really cool Maul skateboard as a kid as well. Either way, I was excited for this guy to come out, and I was more excited to do a leadership guide for him. Now, this one of your first time watching one of my pre-release leader guides, I just want to start off by saying the goal here is to look at a lot of cards that are mostly commons and uncommons within the set that can really build around your leader and their abilities. Yes, there are going to be some great rares and legendaries that can do so well and be game winners for you with this deck. But your chances of getting that rare or that legendary can be a little slim. So I think that's where it's important to focus mostly on commons and uncommons within the set that can essentially give you that foundation, because you're going to get more commons and uncommons out of those 6 booster packs. Now, there are also going to be some cards I may not suggest. It doesn't mean they're not good. It just means these are the ones I really want to highlight for you when you're doing your deck building. Let's go ahead and take a look at Maul as a leader and a leader ability and what he does when he's on the board. As a leader, Maul says you may take an action to exhaust him and attack with a unit. That unit gets to have Overwhelm, which is the keyword that says while attacking an enemy unit, you can deal excess damage to its opponent's base. The less health your unit, the opponent's unit has remaining, the more damage that goes over. So if you can get them to where they just have 1 health remaining, that's a lot of damage depending on what's hitting them. Now, as an epic action, if you control 6 or more resources, you can deploy this leader, and they are a 6/6. 6/6/6. There you go. Happy Halloween, as it is the week of Halloween currently, which means we're 1 week away from pre-release for Twilight of the Republic, which starts November 1st. Not even 1 week. We're a couple of days away, technically, from today. But either way, Maul's a 6/6 with Overwhelm. Giving him Overwhelm, great. But his next stat says every friendly unit gains Overwhelm as well. Perfect. Going wide here, by that I mean giving yourself a variety of units that all have Overwhelm is going to be a pretty solid choice. Maul can be the game-changing and game-winning decision here when you deploy him. It's really important when you do deploy him that you have 2 or more units already in play, ready to attack. Anything you can do to hold off your opponent during that turn is going to be really important, whether you're using Sentinel or maybe some different type of kill events. Anything you can do to make sure you get a lot of value out of Maul's deployment. Now let's take a look at some of the leadership cards, aspect cards I think that will do well with Maul here. The first one's going to be a 3-cost 5/2 unit is the B1 attack platform. Now this card hits hard. Give it Overwhelm if you have to go over a Sentinel unit, but this card should at least get you 1 hit against your opponent. You really want this one to get there, as there are a lot of clone trooper tokens and clones that can just take out the attack platform with that 2 health. But it's a solid choice and a common. Asajj Ventress is going to be another fun card here. There are 4-cost uncommon that are a 2/4. They also have one of the new abilities, Exploit. Exploit says while playing the card, you can defeat up to X amount of units you control, and the card costs 2 less for each unit defeated this way. The X value is going to be the number that follows the exploit keyword. So in Asajj's case, you can exploit 2 units to lower the cost of Asajj down to 0. Pretty great. Now on attack, if you have attacked with another Separatist unit this phase, Asajj gets +3/+0. So if you can give her Overwhelm, she now's a 5/4 that you can have come out early pretty quickly. Last is the 00M series officer, a 2-drop unit that is a 2/1 that says when defeated, you can deal 2 damage to a base. That 2/1 is pretty great. It's a great early drop, and again, you kind of want to have a good amount of low units here to take advantage of some other abilities. I also like that the officer does have an on death ability that's going to keep damage going into your opponent's base, which is really important here. Overwhelm just gives you that threat of taking out your opponent's units while keeping pressure on the base. The series officer really does help you do that. In the command aspect, first card we're going to look at is encouraging leadership. If we're going to talk about going wide strategies, trying to put out a lot of tokens where we can, um, encouraging leadership is going to give all your friendly units +1/+1 for the phase. We talk about Maul having a very key turn. Imagine playing a removal event and then playing encouraging leadership on your units, and you deploy Maul. Your units are stronger. Um, they're going to hit harder with that overwhelm mechanic if your opponent has a lot of units themselves, and you can have a really strong turn. This is just a card you want to make sure you have in your deck. You don't need that many of them, but it's going to can be just as effective as Maul himself on the board. The Magna Guard Wing Leader is a 3 cost unit that's a 3/4. I like this unit because it has an action ability where you can attack with a droid unit and attack with another droid unit once per round. Now, the Wing Leader itself is not a droid, but this can allow you to trigger different overwhelm mechanics once Maul is in play, right? We talked about, let's say you deploy Maul, then you use the Wing Leader. You attack with 2 units before your opponent can. There's That's great. There's some good action cheating here to get what you need to happen. Last for command is Kraken, a 5 cost unit that says when played, you can create 2 battle droid tokens. You'll need those. And you can give each friendly token unit +1/+1 for the phase when they attack. Kraken is a 2/5, so he's not going to leave the board too soon. Having him attack first to strengthen your tokens is exactly why we're using encouraging leadership. Command also has a lot of good token generation. So when you are looking at how do you get more battle droids, or clones, look at the command aspect. Vigilance is going to have some token creations too, where we see already with Wartime Trade Official here, a 2 cost ground unit that says when they're defeated, you create a battle droid token. Now they are a 1/3, so you're not going to get much value out of the overwhelm here, but it is a strong unit if you end up going blue. A 4 cost space unit, the Vulture Interceptor Wing, is a low unit here that is a 3/3, but on attack it gives enemy units -1, -1 for the phase. This can kill a lot of battle droids tokens, or it can weaken one of your opponent's units that you can then use the overwhelm mechanic on and get more damage on the base. Last is Death by Droids for Vigilance. It says defeat a unit that costs 3 or less for 5 resources, and you get to create 2 battle droid tokens. So being able to remove something from your opponent, more than likely they'll have a token in play, and you get 2 units on the board out of it, is beneficial. Now, battle droids, I know, only have a 1 cost health, so we've already looked at a lot of cards that can strengthen them, but don't sleep on the fact that you could just be doing some clone generation as well. In the aggression aspect, let's look at Twice the Pride. Let's say you want to risk it and play double red, or you don't mind paying 4 for this. It says when played, you can give this upgrade to a unit, and it deals 2 damage to the attached unit. So they're going to take some damage, but now you hit for 4. I like cards like this, especially with Overwhelm. That +4 is going to be super solid depending on the unit you have this on. If they can stay alive for a good amount of time, that's a lot of damage to your opponent's base. It's a hard unit for them to deal with, and the overwhelm doesn't make it easier. Next is Heavy, a 4 cost ground unit that has the new keyword Coordinate. Coordinate says if you control 3 or more units, you get whatever Coordinate is telling you you receive. In this instance, Coordinate is giving Heavy Raid 2. With Raid 2, this means Heavy, when they attack, go from a 4/4 to a 6/4. And Heavy has the ability that says when they're defeated, deal 1 damage to each enemy ground unit. Damaging your opponent's ground units is important, not just because you can clear the board of droid tokens, but you can weaken a board of clone troopers and other units. By weakening the board, that makes it much easier when you attack them with the overwhelm mechanic to ensure you're not only killing a unit, but having excess damage go to your opponent's base. Last is Grenade Strike. Deal 2 damage to a unit and 1 damage to another unit in the same arena. For the same basis as heavy, you really want to keep damaging your opponent's bigger units or clearing the board because you want to make sure you're hitting that base every turn. In the cunning aspect, hidden sharpshooters are a great one, especially a little bit later. Once Maul's on board, ambush mechanics are even better. If you have overwhelm and could ambush in with the hidden sharpshooter, you're more than likely going to kill something, especially if it's a token unit, and have the remaining damage follow through. Think of it like that. It's a lot of like following through with your swing or your hits. You really just want to make sure every turn there's some damage on the base, and overwhelm allows you to do that without sacrificing too much. On the doorstep is a 4-cost event that creates 3 battle droid tokens and you can ready them. That's just really good value. You can use those tokens either for exploit or coordinate, or just to have them ready to go once Maul's online. Next is Prisoner of War. You do want some tokens, so Prisoner of War has the ability to give you this. As a 4-cost event, you can have a friendly unit capture an enemy non-leader, non-vehicle unit, and if it costs less than them, you get 2 battle droids. I don't mind playing this on someone like Maul who has a lot of health. Give yourself the droids, make it difficult for your opponent to really overwhelm you. This is also a good one to use after your opponent tries to like exploit most exploits are vehicles. So, but if they try to exploit like maybe an Asajj or some other type of non-vehicle, non-leader unit, you can really take it out of play very quickly and they won't have that much fun. In the villain aspect, I want to recommend the Hellfire Tank. I like the Hellfire Tank. You are going a little bit later in this build because Maul is a 6 resource deployment, and you may want some heavy hitters. So Hellfire Tank has exploits. You can make it cost 4 instead of 8 or 6, but it's a 7/6 unit. Give this card Overwhelm, and that 7 is painful. 6 is also hard to deal with as far as health. Droid Deployment's a 2-cost event that'll give you 2 Battle Droid tokens, helping you trigger things like the Hellfire Tank. And the Battle Droid Legion is another strong exploit card that says when they're defeated, you create 3 Battle Droid tokens. So you could exploit this card for 5, which I think is the best value you'll get out of it. I think it's really good. I don't know if I want to pay 7 for a 6/5, but I would. But paying 5 for it is way better. And lastly, in the non-aspect cards, Headhunter Squadron is just a 1/4 vehicle. Nothing crazy about this. You could argue that maybe the gun is a little better. That gives your units a +1/+0, but you're usually holding that on for a bigger unit that'll stay in play. Headhunter Squadron, at least make sure you have a unit in space that you can use to swing. Make sure you're thinking about the amount of space units you have when building a deck. The Volunteer Soldier is a 3-cost unit that can cost less as long as you have a trooper in play. The odds of you having one are very high, so there's value in playing the Volunteer Soldier, who does have a rate of 1, allowing it to be a 3/3 when they attack. And last is Private Manufacturing. Draw 2 cards. If you control no token units, put 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck in any order. You'll more than likely control 2 tokens, or control a token, so you should be able to draw the 2 cards with no penalty. Paying 2 for 2 has to be good. Card advantage is great. We are still experimenting in Star Wars Unlimited on what is the right value for drawing cards. I would say paying 2 for 2 is the right value, but let's put it into practice, right? These are all the cards that I think that are worth looking at when you are building a Maul deck at your local pre-release or sealed event. Let me know in the comments below what you ended up pulling as far as rares or legendaries that you liked about Maul. I know I really wanted to make him work in constructed and limited, so I'm excited to get this guy on the board. I wish you luck at your future events and pre-releases. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Have a great time at your event, and may the Force be with you.